consume English, to become fluent in English. But remember, simple just exposure is not enough. You have to take some concrete steps to speak English intuitively, subconsciously, naturally, because your target should be to install this language into your system, and your system is your brain, so that when it comes to the point to your speaking, you should not think what kind of sentence structures I should use, what kind of patterns should I use, simple present, should I use future or past indefinite tense, and which form is correct to deliberately or to discuss my point of view. So this is called intuitive study, this is called automatic, and this is called natural subconscious way to consume a language. But just exposure, just exposing yourself to English language is not enough. You have to take some concrete steps. First of all, my dear viewers, you have to take in your mind very important first point, and the first point is question the language. Question the language, question English language. You should be curious, you should be enthusiastic, willing to try to understand what is the meaning of this sentence, what are the certain grammatical structures, what are the frequently used words in English language. Just go to Google and just write down 300 to 500 frequently used English words or words in English language, and there will be a list of 300 to 500 words, and you will be amazed to know that only 300 to 500 words are enough to make you fluent in English language, and these are commonly used. So stay curious. If you don't know anything, stay curious that I have to know this. I have to know this. I will try to understand this. Because after all, what comes in naturally goes out or naturally comes out. If you are feeding yourself only the doubts, you will not be a fluent English speaker. Because whenever it comes to the point towards your speaking, you will doubt. This word is correct? Is it a suitable word or not? Should I use this sentence pattern or not? You will be confused, you will be entangled in the web of this. If you haven't questioned, if you haven't solved your queries which are just arising in your mind. Now comes towards the very important point, and the important point is trust the process. Trust the process. Now what is the dilemma of English learner is that he is always trying to do or to achieve the results. He is not concerned about the pattern. He is not concerned about the process through which he is passing. For example, you are a traveler. You are standing here. You only want to stand the destination. You only want to get the destination. You are not concerned about the distance. You are not concerned about the process or the procedure or the way through which you have to pass. But my dear audience, if you are not concerned about the way, about the path, or about this distance would be a danger for you, a dangerous zone, a forbidden zone, and you will try to get frustrated. After all, frustrated word comes from Latin language, and it just means in vain or futile or useless. So trust the process that I am going, just keep going, and I am trying, someday or the other I will achieve the results, the fruitful results of my hard work, of my labor. So trust the process. Now comes towards the lazy day. Lazy day, when you do not want to get into the language learning. Now how can you pass those lazy days? some mornings, some lazy mornings, some lazy afternoons, after all, some lazy nights. When you do not want to study English at all, when you do not want to read at all, then what is the solution? Solution is your YouTube offline version. Now, what is that YouTube offline version? YouTube offline version means when there is no internet connectivity and you have just downloaded some of the videos, some of the audios, and you are not in the mood to consciously get into that study. So during those lazy days, just try to be passively involved and try to passively consume English language. Just have your headphones in your ear and play any audio or watch any movie just for as a playground music. And you will see that you are absorbing, you are consuming English language in the right way. Next thing is reading worth making investment. I often call this reading as a worth making investment. Why? And try to read the short stories. Short stories very important. Why short stories? Stories are always engaging, they are always entertaining. Apart from entertaining, you get involved in those stories, in those sentence structures, and sometimes you see that you have learned or you have memorized by heart all the story structures. This is the power of short stories. So read these stories, very important. And when you are watching something actively, watch consciously. Watch consciously. What is meant by watch consciously? Or listen consciously. It means that when you are watching or when you are listening, you have to repeat after the speaker in the same tone, in the same rhythm, in the same pattern, as if you are acting out in the place of that actor. This is the essence. Each and every sentence, just pause the video, try to communicate the same thing with the same emotion. You have to be emotionally involved. If you are emotionally involved, if you have that emotion and you just think that I am that speaker, I am acting out in the place of the speaker, and you will see that I have to perform my function quite deliberately and quite effectively, and you will see the fruitful results of your hard work. So offline version, emotional connectivity, and sometimes you do not understand a sentence structure. Sometimes words are quite confusing for you, just like phrasal verbs or idioms, and some connotations are always confusing. So what is the solution? Solution is catch them over and over again until they will explain themselves. For example, if you are repeating the same thing over and over again, it becomes ingrained, it becomes installed in your memory. Not the short-term memory, but in the long-term memory, and you are actively using them when you are in the conversation, when you are in a presentation, or you are having your conversation with anyone. After all, you are not studying a subject, you are just learning the language. Learning a language means you are exposing yourself with the understandable, comprehensible input. What is meant by understandable and comprehensible input? It means you have to understand what you are reading. You have to understand what you are listening. Otherwise, all listening, all reading, or writing would be futile, because you cannot utilize them. You are taking, but you are not understanding. So understanding, comprehension is the keynote towards your input. And the quality of input which you are taking would decide the quality of your output, because it is often repeated, and it is the quote of some very enthusiastic or educated person that whatever we inhale, whatever we absorb, we will give out the same thing with the same essence. So this is called consumption. You have to consume English language, whether passively, when you are very active. When you are active, you are actively involved in reading, writing, speaking, and the most important thing is your speaking. Start speaking from the very first thing, from the very first day, and start pronouncing the words. Pronunciation is very important. You have to copy the mouth movement of the native speakers. But try not to copy each and everything of native speakers. Sometimes they make mistakes, sometimes there are grammatical mistakes, and non-native speakers are often curious and they are more concerned about the mistakes, about the correction rules. So try to inhale each and everything. Don't start from the grammatical point. Always start from the input. Quality input, comprehensible, understandable input that will decide. And you have to, don't limit yourself that I will only devote 20 to 30 minutes. Devote as much time as you can, and you can devote 1 hour to 2 hours so that you can be a fluent English speaker over a short span of time. So this is called consumption. This is called consumption. This is called intaking. This is called inhaling. If you inhale or if you consume the quality, good quality or qualitative English, you would produce the qualitative English. This is the message of today. If you really like the video, then whatever you can do, comment me in comment section that what do you understand by consumption, and what is your activity when you are feeling lazy, what is your hobby when you are having your lazy days, lazy mornings or lazy afternoons. This is your assignment. Till the next video, stay happy, stay blessed. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.